Unless you've been hiding up Donald Trump's ass for the past couple of months, there's a good chance you know about the drama that's currently going on in the ghost camp. Yeah, a couple of months ago, there was a lawsuit that came to light from a couple of former nameless ghouls, which did a lot more than just reveal finances or complaints. It's also named not only these former nameless ghouls, but Papa Emeritus himself. And this move, as Papa has said in a recent interview, has significantly damaged the mystique behind Ghost and was crippling it to the point where it no longer exists. Well, a lot of people, I'm sure, feel that this is a really bad thing and that these nameless ghouls have been naughty, naughty specters. However, I'm here to tell you that you can still enjoy Ghost even with knowing who Papa is as well as the other nameless ghouls. Why is that? Well, I'm about to tell you, so strap in. So Ghost was always a band that was driven partially by the mystique, but then also through the power of its music, just like any other band. Sure, with Kiss, we knew who was behind the face paint. It wasn't exactly that large of a secret, but back then, just to have them dressed up in the full garb was enough of an interesting facet to make this band instantly sort of over the top, kind of like Alice Cooper with his lavish stage shows. With a band like Ghost, however, where there was so much secrets sort of being kept behind the identity of these individuals, to the point that whenever it was revealed that Dave Grohl at one point of the Foo Fighters fame was at one point sat in as a nameless ghoul, it was a huge headline, something that actually blew one of the secrets out of the water. But it was to the point also where you didn't know whether or not it was actually accurate or not. Was this another one of those, schoolyard rumors similar to, the guy that has the uncle that said Nintendo Power, or the fact that, Bobby over here actually caught a turd from G.G. Allen? Is it one of those situations, or is it the real deal? Well, of course, with this lawsuit that sort of blows everything into the face of Tobias Forge, and really into the face of all of us, as we now know who some of these individuals are, including the most important person, which is Papa Emeritus himself. And it's also revealed that he was the one that was doing all of the nameless ghoul interviews. It was not somebody else that was from the band. It was instead Papa leading a double life. He's both Pope and nameless ghoul. He is both the worshipped and the worshipper. Amazing, isn't it? But either way, it is still really interesting to see just how far he was willing to go for not only the band, but also for the craft. You can still enjoy this music even knowing these identities as well, considering that Kiss effect, where you now know who's underneath all of the face paint and everything like that, who is the real unholy pope that you are going to see whenever you go to a Ghost show. But you have to just enjoy the spectacle. You have to enjoy really the creativity that goes about with something like this, considering there are about 99% of groups that are out there that are not trying to get over with some sort of gimmick, but also are not showcasing nearly enough creativity whenever it comes to their overall stage spectacle or their charisma that they showcase whenever they do go out and perform live for the people. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there that say that whenever you remove all of the mystique, Ghost's music is the only thing that really can be seen as potentially above average, and that's one that's even subjected to a lot of criticism. But there's a lot of folks out there that feel that Ghost is just a sort of mediocre band, one that does not have all of that much to offer, and they're still very surprised that they are labeled within a heavy metal veneer. But whenever you take a look at the stage show, and whenever you take a listen to some of what this is all about, and consider just how expansive heavy metal is as a genre, it becomes easier to recognize if you're willing to actually tax your brain that way. But you can enjoy this band even without all of that information being a secret, principally because they do write some fairly decent music. Is it necessarily anything that is blowing the roof off of places? No, but it is catchy enough where it is bringing more people into heavy metal, which means that Ghost has that very interesting situation where they could become a bandwagon or a welcome wagon group for a lot of different people that perhaps may not know where to start or may feel a little bit, frightened to commit to the heavy metal landscape. Ghost has the opportunity to actually draw more folks in, similar to what a Metallica would do, or maybe perhaps what Metallica was able to do with an album such as Garage Incorporated. Based off of that album by itself, young 13 to 14-year-old me had a plethora of bands that I wanted to explore, and thus also exploring the band's history in the thrash metal scene in the 1980s gave me a secondary wave of bands that I needed to scope out. And from there it was off to the races. Ghost could have that same effect, and while it may not necessarily be solely based off of their connection to a specific scene or the covers that they're able to do, it may be just simply based off of that idea of exploring something that's a little bit out of somebody's wheelhouse. And you can still enjoy this band even with knowing all of this information based off of the idea of you still don't know what's going to happen next in the stage show. Now this does put a lot of pressure on Tobias. Do not get me wrong. It does put a lot of pressure on him, considering now, whenever Ghost returns to the stage after their new album drops, the spectacle is going to have to be 10 times bigger. There's going to have to be something that is present on that stage, or on this record, or even both, to sort of dismiss the idea that you know who everybody is, to basically make it almost go away, or make the fans essentially not care. Suspend the disbelief, where whenever you go and see this band for however long their set is, you don't give a crap that you know everything. Instead, you are suspended in the disbelief that you are actually in the presence of an unholy pope. It's similar to the sports entertainment or wrestling industry, where you're aiming to suspend disbelief just long enough and just enough to really wrap somebody into the craft. That's what Ghost is going to have to do, and all I'm going to say to all of you who feel that the mystique is now gone, the magic is over, just be willing to suspend your disbelief. The magic doesn't have to be over just because of this grand reveal. Instead, you should actually go to the shows and wonder what's going to happen next, and wonder what the next big idea is going to be. What's Papa the Fourth going to be like? Is he going to be just a man, or is he going to be some strange Eddie-like visitor from a different planet? What is going to come next for this band? And that's perhaps the most intriguing and interesting part of this, is that we don't know. Nobody will know until it happens. And once that does happen, it's certainly bound to be at least interesting, but at the very least, should at least, have something to offer. It's not just going to be Tobias walking out on stage and performing as himself. He wouldn't be able to do that. No more Nameless Ghouls. It would just be other band members, and they would become a proper band, which, by the way, he says still that they're not, that they're a solo project. But either way, you can still enjoy Ghost without the mystique of not knowing who Papa is, or not knowing who some of the Nameless Ghouls are. There's still a lot of Nameless Ghouls you don't know who they are, and perhaps they'll be revealed in coming months, and perhaps they won't be. But either way, whenever you listen to the music, or whenever you go to see them live, just go and have fun. Let your disbelief be suspended for a little bit, and get enraptured by the atmosphere. I want to know what you guys think about this, though. Let me know in the comments below. I'm CoverKillerNation, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.